Welcome back for more TI7 C qualifiers action right here with Forrest, Godot, with the wrong guesses most of the time, and also Hades.
100%,
Guys,
100%. I'm 2-0.
we just came back from the TNC Geek Fam game, and it was a beautiful game. It was beautiful. TNC took second win. Now they're going up against Moogle, but before we talk about that, I have some breaking news that I just got. Abed actually hit 10K MMR. 10K, guys. That's a new milestone. His own teammates actually throw games against himself because he's just too good. But we did come around this discussion earlier on. Is MMR just a number, or does it actually make you a better player? So I want to get your comments on this. It's a good day to talk about it, I guess.
Okay, maybe we start from the player perspective first. How does it seem like for you, man?
Well, 10K is a pretty big number.
It is.
It's not just a number anymore.
Where's Dendi now? But what about you, Hades?
For me, okay, I think MMR is a good indicator of mechanical skill, but it doesn't really translate into being a good professional player. Like, I mean, even throughout the regions, not just C, having high MMR does not guarantee that you'll transition into being a good competitive player, because it just means that you know how to be a good pub player. It's a very huge, distinct difference. Like, pub players may not get along well in a team environment since they're so used to having the whole team just play around them. They take everything, being selfish. But being a pro player, I believe it's much different. You have to learn how to give up like certain things. Like you just have to sacrifice certain resources sometimes for the good of the team, and that's some of the very distinct differences.
Right, and I want to get your, just like Hades said, your experience as a pro player yourself, because we know when you're not a pro player when it comes to Dota, all people talk about is MMR. You're like, hey bro, what's your MMR? What's your MMR? And they judge people based on that, right? What about pro players? Do they actually care? I know some, obviously it's something people care about, but is it important for you guys at all?
It really depends on the MMR. Like, let's say you're already in a team with someone who's low MMR. It doesn't really matter because you know he's good. You wouldn't be playing on his team if he's not good, right? But if you're recruiting for players, for new talents, then MMR is a good indication of who to try out. Let's say the guy's 8K, right? And there's some other guy who's 6K. You're obviously going to try out the 8K first, right? He's going to have more mechanical skill because that's how he plays the game. He's an independent player. He knows how to split. He knows how to win games in general. So there's an advantage. There's pros and cons, obviously, but there's going to be more pros than cons. So it does have a lot to do, like, to why a lot of these new talents have joined teams, and it's because they've been grinding the MMR.
All right, makes sense. Once again, congratulations to Abed. Guys, we have TNC coming up against Moogle. Now, we talked about this. TNC is the stronger team based on the games that we saw so far. So looking at the roster right now, we have Miracle, Chibix, Polosan, Kai, Hana on Moogle's side, and Raven, Cuckoo, Samage, Tims, 1437 on the TNC Pro team. We've seen them play. What do you guys think we can expect from these teams?
Well, I'm going to jump in once again into the TNC. I'm going to go to the bandwagon that's been winning. I mean, this is a pretty safe matchup, I'd say. The Geek Fam was quite close, the game, but this one I think will be a lot more one-sided than the previous game, so TNC for me.
Hades?
Oh, this is so rough, man. Why are you going to put me in a spot like that? Like I said earlier on.
Say
yeah,
Moogle?
Deep down, I want to be patriotic. I want to say Moogle. I want to vote for Miracle and Friends. This is basically first departure reborn, but yeah, I have to go with TNC for this one.
I guess this is the only time we're actually a team together. I'll probably be going with TNC as well, guys. I'm probably going to be on TNC.
Not Moogle?
No, I mean, I've seen them play now, and I know they're good. And for Moogle to go against such a team, I want to get your opinion on actually what should they be doing right now? What kind of strategies, what kind of heroes, what kind of picks and bans should they be going with to be able to counter a team like TNC?
Well, they definitely cannot beat them flat out, like in a fair game. They have to pick something unorthodox, which is fine because they do have Miracle. They could unleash his Naga. They could unleash a lot of heroes that he plays. Terrorblade as well, he plays extremely well.
But isn't that going to be a problem because they've already seen his Naga, so isn't it going to be easy to counter?
It's just the fact that he hasn't really played it recently, so they might not expect it, and if they do not ban it out, it is an option that they could do depending on if they see it's the right draft to do so. It's mainly going to be a situational pick, but then again, his heroes are normally picked 4th or 5th, so they always have the option to do so. Now, having the right lineup around it is another story, but if they see fit and they think that they can't beat TNC utilizing the standard heroes that are currently in the meta, I feel like it's the only appropriate way they can actually go around this kind of curve.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. What about you, Hades? What kind of strategy?
I feel it's very hard to outdraft TNC, just based on how wide, how diverse the hero pool is. Like even back before in the previous game, we talked about how Raven and Cuckoo, these guys, they pretty much, or rather, so Raven, yeah, he plays whatever the team needs all the time, and Cuckoo, maybe they stand a slightly better chance, maybe like plus 2.5%, something like that, if you can try to outban Cuckoo. Another way is also being able to predict those support rotations. Like you look at Tim's, always very active, regardless of whatever hero he plays, he's able to make something happen. He always has impact. So maybe that's one thing they can do. I don't think that Moogle will be able to outplay them, but it's something they need to look forward into. Instead of keeping those supports passively behind and just constantly trying to enable their cores. That kind of Dota, I would say it's quite old school in a sense, like maybe from 2 years back. They need to evolve.
True, true. And something we forgot to talk about is the coach. So we have Kips on TNC side. Now from his experience, from Kip's experience, what have you seen before? Do you think that Kips has a lot of effect on the team itself?
Well,
as the coach?
I would say yes. Like even with Fnatic, some people or some players, they tend to underestimate the kind of impact having even a third, just having that extra perspective. Because let's face it, Dota really consumes a lot of your brain power. So having Kips there to help them analyze, like, okay, this is what they do, this is the patterns they have. Just having that pretty much, simplifies the game for them. It makes things easier.
I guess it does help with the drafting after all as well, right? So we do have drafting ready right now, so we can take a look at that and see what kind of heroes we can see. Okay, one pick so far.
Night Stalker, interesting. That hero has been banned a lot actually throughout the first phase. So it's, I think the first game we've seen Night Stalker pick. I'm not sure about the other games though.
Yeah, the ones that we missed out, I'm not sure either. But here for us, we haven't seen him before.
Yeah.
But Moogle, they're just banning out the Tim's heroes immediately. So they know this is pretty much the respect for Tim's as how much impact he has as a player. Like you don't usually see force, like you compare Rogi and Tim's in previous game as an example. Rogi did not have the kind of impact which Tim's that had. Like even if the kind of initiations he had, even if the final fight where he got a 3-man stun into an epicenter, that was big. He always has that on a consistent basis. It's not like a once a game kind of thing or once every few games. So, but Moogle, okay, I like they go back for the Clockwork and Venom.
Yeah.
This should be a miracle Venomancer.
But there's been so many open heroes that normally are first phase banned, but because they've been banning Tim's hero, all these heroes are open now. So Clockwork, I think the first game we've seen now picked, and Venomancer now.
Though, I think only Paulson has played the puck for Moogle so far in the offlane. They've never really played it mid. Chibix doesn't play those heroes. He usually plays more like OD, Storm, Lina, these kind of heroes.
What's funny is the games that we saw with Razor in it, they lost. Most of the teams that picked Razor, they lost. I don't know why. Is it because they cannot execute it well enough, or is it just me?
I feel like in most games the Razor a bit of not really fitting into the lineup.
Or maybe they're not RTT. that could be it as well, right?
Yeah, maybe. But just in general, like for example, the last game, I felt like the Razor, the Link is good against Juggernaut, but there's so many heroes that are so mobile that they can just get away from the Link and then no damage is stolen, and Razor loses a lot of their effectiveness. The Link, even though it's his W, it's one of his standard abilities, it feels like an ultimate. If it's not a great Link target or a Link duration long enough to still enough damage, it doesn't do enough.
5 seconds remaining.
Okay, so right now, we're still waiting, but so far the picks standard.
Oh, Night Stalker is first time, but yeah, after that pretty standard. The tier 1 heroes right now. Clockwork has been picked a lot before in the offlane. It's just been banned normally in these games. Venomancer as well because of the RTZ trend as Veno carry. But now we got Queen of Pain as well, which is one of Thing's heroes as well, Cuckoo's heroes. So it'll be good to watch. As you can see, Lina has been banned as well. One of the typical matchups against Crop.
Definitely. We've seen Lina in most of the games actually today.
Yeah.
But is she a danger necessarily?
She's always going to be a threat.
She's always a danger. Sonic Wave just provides you so much burst. She's a good nuking hero, and now with all the talents and stuff, she does kind of scale a bit better into the late game, and she doesn't really need offensive items. As long as you have defensive items, she's always able to provide something to the table regardless. But this game, I'm actually more curious as to what hero they'll pick for Moogle, because like for mid for Chibix, one of the things, I think they're one of the few C teams where they're willing to give like the mid matchup at a disadvantage. They already expect it. They're like, okay, you can lose today, we'll create space elsewhere.
Yeah.
Like even for Miracle, usually first departure, they had this very notorious reputation. It's basically 4+ Miracle. It's always 4 protect 1. Like, I'm sure Godot knows that exceptionally
They never
well.
prioritize anyone else aside from Miracle. He is the one to play around with.
Yeah.
But if you've noticed, like recently, like at least through the open qualifiers, he's taken a more active role. I think it's maybe from his experiences with Mineski, with Fnatic, he's learned how to move around, be more active around the map, so his playstyle has evolved, but I'm not sure whether the team has. Because they have a lot of respect for him. Like, even back in Singapore, they're always saying, yeah, we have a lot of faith in Gelf. He's the one of the few players they feel, like, regardless whatever hero they give him, he can 1v5. But okay, Disruptor, that should be the Hana hero.
It is a hero that can allow them to catch these mobile heroes, such as Queen of Pain and Night Stalker. They're just too mobile. Even if you lock them down, as long as you're close enough, it's okay. But Disruptor's Glimpse allows you to always close the gap very quickly, no matter how far it is, as long as in Glimpse range. And Rubik has been taken. Oh, wow, it's a pretty good Rubik game. Obviously,
first time we saw Rubik today.
Yeah, this is the first time in the panel games. Although it does not have the big ultimate such from Veno, which is also a bit hard still, because every time Veno ults, he should just drop a Plague Ward on top of that. But there's a lot of small spells that I can still, like Glimpse is a pretty big one that Rubik could take. Even taking Plague Wards from Veno from time to time can be good to defend towers or even to push towers. It's quite handy. But it is also a reliable stun which they lack, and they need a support for the laning phase, and Rubik does offer that. It's the same as CM, Crystal Maiden does provide similar things, but Rubik just has that ultimate factor which can be pretty good in the mid game of the team fights.
Right. Also because the Rubik, like whoever you hook and cog, the Clockwork, whoever the clock catches, Rubik can just pretty much toss the Clockwork out, so you won't get the full battery assault damage follow-up. And yeah, that's...
The null field is pretty nice this game as well, and negates a lot of magic damage, which is right now pipe. Pretty much.
And then I think if I recall, for the past 2 patches, they have been secretly buffing the null field. Like it's even at level 1, it's really very good.
Secretly buffing, like
no one's noticed it. I swear, even in the majors, like for a while, you could see if anyone needed a 5, you just go for the Rubik. The null field really does a lot. It's something which teams tend to underestimate. Even pubs, they're like, it doesn't really matter. This is one of the things about Dota. Like every tiny detail matters. So now Moogle, they go back for the Pulse on Earthshaker. Mid, once again, it boils down to the mid hero. Like, who would they go up laning against this quad?
So we got the Earthshaker here, and I mean, they could still make it as a support. Could be a Veno offlane, a Veno carry, or a Veno carry, Veno support. My bad. But the Earthshaker probably will be a support here, as it's more likely Veno to be a carry.
So what about TNC's roles now that we have Anti-Mage?
That was a pretty early Anti-Mage pick. They're not. I mean, they already see most of the components of the draft. The only thing that's missing is a mid hero for Moogle, unless they switch it up very unorthodoxly, but unlikely. I mean, we got the Anti-Mage safe lane against the clock. The Rubik will provide safety to him, because you can never cog battery an Anti-Mage, especially if the Rubik's around. And there's not the most reliable stun, like Limp Disruptor ult is pretty good against Anti-Mage, but it's all magic damage, which it will be, negated a lot by the null field and the Anti-Mage's ability.
True.
Like, I can see why TNC decided to go for the Anti-Mage pick. Seems a bit premature, but like he said, it's a lot of magic damage, and I'm pretty sure they can do a lot of it, because when you have the Night Stalker, you're really reducing so much vision for Moogle that they won't be able to see anything. Wards are basically, I don't know, like tiny blips of hope. It basically represents Moogle's hope in this game right now. So I like the Night Stalker pick. I think it suits the Anti-Mage, and okay, Pit Lord. Ooh, wow. Okay. So Night Stalker is a 4?
That's very interesting, because the Pit Lord does negate physical DPS around, but their whole lineup is magical here, which is a little weird. It does provide the ability to push out lanes. Pit Lord is a frontliner, and he can fight pretty early. He is a mechanism user as well, which means he can negate, pipe as well. He could get a pipe and negate a lot of the magic damage. So it's a pretty good frontline, tanky teamfight hero.
Oh god, okay. So guys, they've been confirmed. What do you think right now? Now you have the full team layout.
Well, I like TNC still a lot more, and I've been with TNC before as well, so definitely TNC on my side here.
I'm just gonna go on a wild step and say Moogle for the upset.
Whoa.
I'm gonna secretly hope for it,
Seriously, is it because of their draft?
Yeah, I think the OD pick works out. I would say they picked the Pit Lord because they wanted to prevent the Venomancer Min as a possible matchup against the Quap, because Veno still can provide issues to Quap. If she blinks in, what do you do? You're gonna get slowed and die. So if anything, I think, I would say Moogle. I have faith.
All right, so you have Moogle, TNC. I'll go with TNC. It's weird, me and you are together this time, bro.
Man.
But
you betrayed me, dude. Why would you betray me like that? Oh,
I'm sorry, man. I think Danley and Basecamp are ready for us right now. So guys, take it away and enjoy the game.
Thank you very much, Faraz. Basecamp, this is our last game of the day. Sad
Well,
face.
Last for us, but there's so much Dota action. I mean, EU's just starting up as well, and we have a pretty good game in front of us. A really interesting draft. TNC, Anti-Mage really good against the Venomets, so they don't really have that much lockdown for the AM this game, so I feel like it is a game that he can kind of win all by himself, and the rest of the lineup just kind of there to buy time. But we get this last pick OD out of Moogle. I think the OD's actually pretty sick this game, but I guess we'll have to see how it plays out. I mean, TNC probably the better team overall, but I like the fact that Moogle are showing us something a little bit different. They're not just picking the same completely safe lineup overall, as we have a flurry of TPs out onto the map. 4 different heroes TPing to go and plant wards early on here.
4 different heroes, 4 different locations. And I think out of all the games that we have seen today as well, this has the most diverse hero pool of heroes that we haven't seen in one game.
Yeah, we haven't really seen much of the Shaker yet. The Night Stalker's been popular, but not picked in this game.
First Rubik as well.
Yeah,
for us.
Rubik as well, 1437.
First Disruptor for us as well. Our first OD, first Underlord, first... We have a lot of firsts.
Yeah, first Anti-Mage as well.
Yeah.
It's still early days.
And Clockwork, sorry, Clockwork as well.
Yeah, so lots of new and exciting stuff. Moogle, I mean, very much an early game focused lineup other than the OD, who feels like he's not necessarily out of place. You know, you can kind of, if you look at TNC's lineup, they're very much a 4 protect 1 lineup. And Moogle in the similar sort of sense, you know, the Clockwork's going to fall off in the later stages of the game. So he's really just here to try and secure the early game as best he can. The Shaker does certainly scale, so this one is going to be interesting. But I do think I favor TNC. They picked the Anti-Mage pretty confidently, and this is looking like a very good Anti-Mage game.
I'd have to say, just performance-wise, TNC.
Yeah.
Because we already saw Moogle play up against Faceless, and a lot of people were saying that TNC and Faceless, you could say they're on par, if not Faceless, maybe a little bit more. And Moogle, they showed us some fighting spirit, but they weren't quite there when it came to dealing with Faceless. So I think it might just be the exact same story here for TNC. We'll never know. Maybe they could cause an upset, show us something completely different and blow us away. Who knows? That's the nature of Dota.
Yeah, it's interesting. We'll see what Kai gets done here on the Clockwork. Normally Clock plus OD, like OD mid and then Clock roaming as a support is a very strong combination because you can just imprison somebody, walk up, pop the battery assault, pop the cogs, and get a very easy kill, but not quite so easy against the Queen of Pain. So.
And also a heads up. Now, Baseskip, you did go onto Twitter, and apparently it's not just TNC having power outage issues, but Happy Feet as well.
So the Philippines, basically, yeah.
Yeah, both coaches have been tweeting out that they've been having some power issues. So the Filipino teams today, they're going to have a couple of issues. Hopefully it gets resolved so that tomorrow is much smoother for them.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a real shame to have such a big qualifier be, you know, have the outcome be significantly affected by power issues. Chibik's getting pressured out of the lane here.
Lots of damage.
Clockwork manning up, but I mean, doesn't really have a whole lot to do.
Luckily for Chibix, he did have a salve, so he at least is going to be able to heal up a nice chunk of HP. But Queen of Pain harassment, especially with a Night Stalker just looming on the high ground, you got to be very careful for your Chibix. Especially when you hit that nighttime, the silence for an OD is quite scary.
Yeah, definitely. And especially the fact that the Night Stalker can come over the cliffs as well, using his Hunter in the Night active, makes it very, very difficult for OD. The angles of approach for Night Stalker are absolutely crazy. But knowing that the Night Stalker is mid, Pelosin has been able to grab a little bit more over in the top lane. This isn't the strongest safe lane duo by any means for TNC with the Rubik and the Anti-Mage, but looks like ES is still going to get driven out here as Tim's is still on the hunt.
Take a significant amount of damage, but luckily with the boots. Well, he turned around. Was that a misclick?
No, he wanted to cancel the clarity so that there wouldn't be another void.
That was quite risky, but worked out for him.
It was the only way for him to live, so it was actually a very nice play.
Okay, there we go. Chibix going to be harassing at Cuckoo this time. He did get notified by his teammate that Tims was coming back into the middle lane. Man, Tims has been so annoying on this Night Stalker so far. He's just been finding the right people to harass all game. And even though it's just been 2 minutes, I say all game, but so far.
Yeah, he's been everywhere. The boots really getting him from lane to lane very quickly.
Oh, nice cogs, cancelling the TP there for Sam H. And here comes Miracle on the...
Miracle's like, I'm not even going to... Oh, okay, he does waste some mana now, but I thought he was going to go for the full, like, I'm not even going to waste any mana on this kill. You're dead, dude. Just let me have it. But, alright, so nice little way to start out for Moogle, but I don't think the Underlord... I mean, the Underlord's not doing that well, honestly. Hasn't even managed to reach his level 2 just yet. Getting pressured pretty heavily. I like the way that he's been playing, trying to steal the creep wave out from behind the tower and drag it back to be able to grab some experience, but it looks like Moogle had been giving him a pretty hard time and hasn't really been able to get what he wanted out of the lane. The nice thing about Venomancer, especially against the Underlord, is that his damage, the damage from the Plague Wards, you know, and just the general damage from the Venomous Gale isn't going to get reduced by the Atrophy Aura. So Underlord normally pretty tanky against right clicks, but with all this magical damage from the Thunderstrike and all the damage over time from the Veno, the Underlord actually not that tanky in this situation. I think they mostly just picked him for the Firestorm spam. He's one of the few offlaners that actually brings you a ton of deep push, and they're just kind of playing for the Anti-Mage this game. So makes sense from that perspective.
So is that basically the entire role here for Sam H, or is there another possible role that we could be seeing for Sam H? Even though he's not getting everything that he wants, can he accomplish something else?
I think so. I mean, he's mostly going to be buying items that are pretty easy to build up. I imagine that a big part of his game here is to just buy a mech and a pipe to mitigate against the Sanity's Eclipse, to mitigate against all the Venomancer damage, against the Earthshaker damage. So he's not just here to spam waves, but he's also here to help lock down the team fights.
Paulison going to drop. Very, very nice setup there with the Rubik and the Anti-Mage.
And Raven getting pretty much complete free farm at the moment on his AM, so should be a very timely Battle Fury. Not really a whole lot that the Earthshaker can do. You know, normally Earthshaker against these melee safe laners can put some pressure on with the Enchant Totem, but Anti-Mage is going to you constantly, so very difficult to spam Totem and actually trade harassment.
The catch on Moogles is not too bad when it comes to looking for an Anti-Mage. It's just...
Yeah, they have stuns for sure.
Like a lot of their setup is... They have a lot of setup, actually. But they also need to use that setup for other teams if a team fight happens. Nice retreat, though, for TNC. They actually said Miracle up here. Okay.
Yeah, and Sam H is so happy that all of those TPs just went top. Like, free lane bottom, boys. Let's go. Easy farm. There's even a little stack for him to clear up, so help get his level 3.
Little Barry can get some EXP. Oh, Tim's actually gets Paulison. All right.
He was going for the shrine, and like he died he died 2 steps away from it. He could see it, but Nightstalker already on the prowl.
So in other words, Miracle's TP was probably in vain.
Yeah, it pretty much was. And now Kai in some trouble here mid. 143.7 has the lift back. Do they even need to use it? One more auto attack's going to do it. And yeah, so Chibix is nowhere to be found. He was just grabbing the bot rune.
We've already seen a couple of positioning issues here for Moogle, just getting caught out.
Yeah, not a great look for them. I mean, their lineup does want to rotate around a little bit, other than the OD, who's mostly just going to be chilling out and farming. But yeah, it's not good that they're swapping their lanes and not really getting anything out of it, because that's going to favor the team that's not rotating any of their cores, which is TNC, as they start to pick up their farm across the board, already sitting on a little bit of a net worth advantage right now. And
we have 2 homing in onto Miracle in this top lane as well. The Nightstalker going to be following behind 1437, who's going to start with a lift initiation. Now, Clockwork was here. They were trying to harass the Anti-Mage, but when you have 2 super annoying supports going after your Venomancer, you don't have too many options. Raven, though, going to be finishing off Miracle, and the Earthshaker comes in with the Fissure. But I think Collison's going to die to Raven instead. Raven and Tim's. Oh, they can't get him. Beautiful cogs. Raven's still chasing after Paulison. This Earthshaker is fast. Oh, my God. But Tim's is faster. Oh, man. Raven going to be the last one to get the hit anyway. So
he almost got the auto attack off with the Enchant Totem.
It would have been good if they got him. And they also get a third. Oh, Kai.
The fight lasts so long that 1437 dies, and then TP's back in and is ready to find the follow-up kill. So.
Well, Not going 100% according to plan here for Moogles.
Yeah, definitely not. The Venomancer was hoping to put on some pressure. I think that the Clockwork support has turned out to be the biggest liability in terms of this game. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Courier died, and Barry's going to die unless he gets denied.
No. Is he okay? He's ticking.
Oh, he's fine. Oh, actually.
No, he's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, he's fine.
All right. Tango saving his life there. Although he has to go back to Fountain anyway. So.
Yeah.
Better dead than not. I mean, better not dead than dead.
That's for sure. Yeah, he
pretty bad.
Gets away with some EXP, doing okay there. He did Sonic Wave the Courier successfully, so Cuckoo's still getting something there, but
farming wise, still a big victory for Anti-Mage. He's sitting at a 4.2k net worth. Over 3.2, which is Miracle sitting in second place.
Yeah, this AM is getting out of control. And like I was saying before, this Clockwork's just having very little impact. TNC picking very survivable, or not even very survivable, but very elusive cores for both mid and safe lane is working out, at least for the time being. Of course, the situation will change a little bit once Disruptor gets his ultimate and more points in Glimpse, once Shaker picks up a mobility item and starts to max out his stuns. They do definitely have kill potential, but for now, Raven and Cuckoo farming pretty nicely.
So at this point, it's really Moogles to try and salvage their laning phase, because it hasn't been too impressive. They've had some interesting shifts, in particular sending Miracle up top to try and pressure the Anti-Mage, instead giving kills away with his two teammates. Whereas for TNC, like you look at the way TNC is playing, they don't have to shift their lanes. And half the time they win, even though they just use the heroes that are currently in that lane. They might TP one in, and that's it. That's all that they need.
Yeah, this next nighttime is going to be pretty scary, I think, for Moogle. Like, they need to hopefully accomplish... Well, they need to accomplish a lot in the following day and hope that they don't get too picked off in this next night. Because I think if the next nighttime goes badly, that's going to be Anti-Mage's Battle Fury 100% secured. And then at that point, he can start really taking over this game. They haven't been able to take out a single Tier 1 tower just yet, I think in a big part because of the spam on the Underlord. They haven't really been able to put any pressure on this bottom Tier 1. And I think that's also part of why they rotated the Venomancer as early as they did, because they wanted to try and take that safe lane Tier 1 away from the AM, but they haven't been able to do so just yet.
Yeah. Sam H just they don't actually need to do anything to Sam H. It's just he's essentially stopping them from getting that very early gold injection for the tower.
Yep, exactly. And just farming up that mech and pipe as anticipated. Miracle is going to be going for a Midas, not an uncommon item on Venomancer at all, given that his talents are pretty solid. And Tim's in some trouble here.
Oh, they should be able to get him here. He's going to try and go for TP as there Glimpse. There is. And Tim's should be going down to the poison. There we go. One charge is not going to be enough, so Miracle getting a small victory with the help of Barry. He's a Disruptor. Sam H, it's an Underlord. You can't really do too much. Middle lane, though, trying to go for the Queen of Pain. Not going to be an easy one. The lockdown, just not enough. Can even say that Chubix, this earlier on, your OD is not looking too scary.
No.
He doesn't get scary till he gets his technically 2 items.
Yeah, I mean, OD really is just a kind of a carry hero that you happen to play in the mid lane. Especially, he's going for a Midas this game, so until he gets kind of a Hurricane Pike and a Blink, not very scary.
Very greedy. 2 Midases on Moogle.
Yeah, and Cuckoo's back for revenge. Just blinks straight in on mid and pops him out of nowhere. There wasn't even any vision up to the high ground. He just got the dagger off, knew that he landed the Scream, and chucked out the Sonic Wave.
But yeah,
Chubix is down.
Back onto the whole Midas thing though. Getting 2 Midas, 1 on OD and 1 on Veno, that's quite greedy.
It is a little bit greedy, but I think they also know that there's no way that they can end this game within the next 20 minutes. So they may as well... unfortunately, they're kind of succumbing to Anti-Mage's pace of the game, which is not great as Miracle's getting jumped down here.
Yeah.
They got the ultimate off at the very least, but they're just going to give that one right over to 1437.
Yeah. Score of 4-8 so far, so...
Oh, Kai wants to stop them before they get to the shrine.
Oh, the lift. Oh, the lift. Not even going to be able to finish anyone off. Ends up feeding them a kill.
and some cogs as well on top of everything. TNC just, I mean, I guess they kind of saw him making his way over with the dire obs, so we're able to get the precast on the lift after the hook came in. Sam-H might be dead here, getting caught by the kinetic field and just gets auto attacked down by Barry and Chibik. So nice little grab for Barry there. Helps him towards his arcane boots, which he desperately needs, but we haven't been looking at him. But Raven's been farming up a storm over on the top lane, already has his Battle Fury complete.
I think at this point you don't even need to look at Raven because you know he's going to get that farm.
Yeah, I mean, you can just put the net worth on and you can just watch him sit up the top for the rest of the game. I think that's kind of the
But it looks like he's only farmed up enough gold for one golden weapon.
you gotta have a little bit of variety, right? It's the spice of life.
I guess so.
Pelosin in some
Two
big trouble
gold
here.
Oh, Echo. It'll buy a little bit of time. They will be able to get the Night Stalker, hopefully. They will finish him off. 14:37, and Cuckoo still chasing for Barry. The scream will be enough, and even Anti-Mage is joining the fray. Raven seeing if he can actually help anyone out. Miracle's there, but I don't think you want to be touching a Veno if you are an Anti-Mage.
He's definitely icky. Cuckoo also getting another pick off here. Gonna try for the blink out. Looks like he should be okay. Will not be brought down by the Venomancer as they just continue kiting him around in circles. Veno does not like playing against these blink heroes at all.
This is sort of what happens when you pick a Veno so early in the drafting phase. It was second pick.
Chibix was trying to kill off Sam-H down bottom. There's a Fisher turnaround though. He's still silenced, however, so can't keep the orbs going.
Oh, glimpse back. Rest in pieces, Sam-H. You will be missed. But he's technically doing his job, so that death on Sam-H, it's not hurting his team at all. It's just one death.
Yeah, it sets him back a little bit. I mean, they were looking for that kill, a nice counter initiation from Moogle, but it's still TNC who are the ones really controlling the pace of the game right now, making the aggressive moves. And the only kills that Moogle are really getting are the ones that they manage to turn around on them, which does not bode well. The OD is still farming, I mean, all right, but not amazing, and they do still have the two Midases running. This is the biggest pickup right now as Pelosin grabs his Blink Dagger, so we'll see if he can make some big plays and start turning the tides of this game for his team.
Quite surprised that Pelosin managed to finish up that Blink Dagger considering his laning phase. He's been pressured, he
died a couple times to the Night Stalker.
Yeah, so for him to get that much gold, even though he has 4 deaths, quite surprising. It's quite resourceful to be able to get that. But bottom lane, they're going to be able to grab Chibix here. Oh, Astral will buy some time. Cuckoo blinking in, and taking some good damage. If he just gets hit by Miracle once with a Plague Ward, he possibly would tick out.
Yeah, or that rocket flare. Yeah. Oh boy, that was... I think he would have actually survived the flare, but if they'd gotten some vision of him, might be able to do something.
They know he's there. I'm going to try and go into Miracle instead. Silence down. And this might be enough. Beautiful follow-up there from Pelosin to finish him off. Miracle still hiding. Going to go for a hook shot here onto Raven. They're trying to stun him up. Is there enough follow-up? That's the biggest question. Where is he gone? Oh, he's gone down. Glimpse back into the middle of the team. Do they have the damage? They're looking for him. They finally get him. How was that killing off a really hard boss? Not raid boss Anti-Mage, just boss Anti-Mage.
Yeah, he's the mini boss. He's the floor boss. But 1437 was pushing top this whole time with his stolen Plague Wards, but looks like he's just going to get picked off. And TNC, I don't know. I think they got a little bit ahead of themselves there, bringing the Anti-Mage in for that fight. Raven probably regretting that a little bit. Well, he could have just been farming the Dire jungle the entire time, using his Vlads, using his Battle Fury, continuing to accelerate his farm. I don't think it's really hurt their overall game plan that much, but it is maybe a little bit sloppy for them, especially to go for that while their Rubik is playing on the other side of the map and they don't have the Underlord mech. I do feel like they're the favorites in this game, but it is also important to stay disciplined, because if this OD gets out of hand, they do have some tools to deal with him in terms of the silences and whatnot, but still pretty scary for their team to deal with.
Well, Pelosin blinking forward, just a stun onto 1437. It will send him packing. Top though, OD. Found
Tim's with the double damage.
Tims. Oh, still cheeks. Oh, okay, that's going to keep him alive for a tad bit longer. The rest of his team will not find the OD, and Tims might end up dying to Kai instead. Although, who's going to win this man fight? Kai versus Tims. He's still running, and this minus earn charge is not helping.
Flare him.
Come on, there we go. Kai, going to be a man. Meanwhile, middle lane, we have our Rubik man fighting up against our Polison. They will get the Rubik kill. Anti-Mage cannot kill Polison. Oh, it gets screamed down by Cuckoo.
Cuckoo's got him. Cuckoo's got him. All right.
Okay.
That's.
It was not in vain.
No. Still so much action this game. I was, given that we've got an Anti-Mage on one side and an OD on the other, I was expecting a decent amount of farming, but both teams just kind of running at each other right now.
It's technically been the opposites of the games we were expecting. All the games with aggressive heroes are quite passive, and then you get the passive heroes, and suddenly it's action everywhere.
I feel like a lot of it is that each team is looking at the other team and like, they have passive heroes. We should go and punish them for having passive heroes.
Or
like,
it's just the C mindset.
Yeah.
Pick passive heroes, play aggressive. So what?
Yeah. We only wanted these passive heroes for some late game. We're still going to run at you. That's the big thing. All right, so we're going to 4-staff up on the Venomancer. Helpful little item. The one thing to watch out for TNC this game is that they actually have sneaky Roshan potential. Underlord is actually insane at taking Rosh, and this is probably a pick that they were thinking about after Galaxy Battles. It was Newbie picking it really heavily against Planet Odd in the grand finals of that event, and like the Underlord actually, the percentage damage on his Firestorm works on Roshan, so using that they can actually potentially take the Rosh insanely quickly and put an Aegis on the Queen of Pain or the Anti-Mage to really start hitting their timing and winning this game. It depends on what timing they're looking for the AM. Do they want him to get like Manta BKB? Is he going to get Manta Abyssal?
Okay, let's face it.
There's lots of different things that he can go for.
Let's face it, it's Southeast Asia, so I think BKB is a must. It's a must.
Yeah, it is important. This game, he's very survivable against the damage from Moogle, but the lockdown is certainly very annoying, and then also he needs the BKB against the OD. Whether or not he buys it early completely depends on what he feels like his team's timing is.
Technically, not just the OD. The Disruptor as well is going to be a huge threat if he gets a Thunderstrike off onto Raven first. Yeah. Because you get that guaranteed vision.
Yeah, unless he can like blink away, then Manta it off, remove the vision, but it is certainly a good point that he needs to stop himself being controlled by the Disruptor, because if he's getting controlled by the Disruptor, then he's definitely getting smacked by the OD, and Arcane Orb does not care at all about Spell Shield, so OD is actually one of the few heroes in the game that can shred Anti-Mage extremely quickly if they just have that little bit of lockdown as Moogle.
Technically, you can say it's also vice versa, but we will continue this discussion in a moment. Cuckoo will be spawning out 3 to 4 of the Moogle heroes, and he's looking to go onto Barry. He's just waiting to see if he can find the opportunity. Twims will run by. He's running up. They're trying to isolate that Chubik South. The rest of his supports have left him. The silence is there. 4 staff. Looks like the OD should be able to get out safely. Tims, I think he is going to try and look for him in the backside. And you can see Hunter in the night over the tree line. Chubix gets the Astral off. In the meantime, the rest of the team will port out. And Tims, he's the last survivor, but it looks like he will be able to leave the fight as well. Very nice juke from Chubix, just waiting for Tims to chase him through the tree line, and then just Astral and runs.
Yeah, nicely done. Nice little 4-staff play as well from Chubix, and very good reactions from Barry. If the Sonic Wave had gone off, I feel like Chubix probably would have died, but Barry, quick fingers. I mean, they knew that something was up after their smoke got dispelled, so he was probably on edge anyway, but still very nicely played. Anti-Mage has now picked up his Manta style, so Raven's still kind of on track.
3-man smoke onto Miracle. 4 with the blink in here for Cuckoo. Sonic Wave misses. Oh, okay.
That's maybe a little bit concerning. Now the Poison Nova comes out as a result.
No, Barry going to be chased here by 1437 and Tims. Echo Slam going to keep him alive. He's going to try and keep him in the barrier. Tims going to be silencing this Earthshaker. Glimpses there. Barry's not dead yet. The Earn Charge should be able to get him, but no. It's going to be Cuckoo to scream him down, and we have Polison under the cover of Invis. Chubix is in the middle of the fray. Very nice block there by Polison, and Chubix, he does not want to go anywhere near the OD. He's going to hide in the tree line for now, trying to bottle up Cuckoo. Nice Astral Tim's is nearby though, and Polison having to run away from Raven. It looks like they both should be dying. One is down, and the other is gonna get away.
Yeah, Polo managed to blink, and if he had to, he could have popped his stick charges and used the Shadow Blade as well. So looks like he was fine.
Back onto the Anti-Mage versus OD discussion. Technically, it can be vice versa as well, because Anti-Mage burns the mana.
I mean, it's only if you stop OD from attacking at all, because otherwise he's just refilling his mana pool constantly off of the orb. So
oh no, it's the whole.
Oh, like you always do
damage.
damage. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you can actually kill the OD pretty quickly, but you can't really use the Mana Void very reliably unless he's chain disabled, which TNC don't really have the most solid lockdown in the world. I mean, they got a lift and they have an imprison. They have like a pit, which is a root.
I guess the silence isn't too bad either.
Yeah, the silence is also good for preventing him from refilling his mana pool. But all right,
there's a lot of things to consider.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot going on. But I mean, the Anti-Mage net worth bar just keeps on growing, and that's the scary thing if you're Moogle right now, that they just do not have the tools just yet to deal with the Anti-Mage. They're getting there. You know, the Shaker lockdown is starting to build up even further. The Disruptor has got a Midas, and he's going to be going in towards an Aghanim Scepter after that, as they do find Tim's in the jungle here.
Oh, stolen hookshot here by 1437. So this could be a good way for him to somehow engage. Tim's going to be the first one to drop, and they also managed to... Oh, camera stopped working. They also managed to grab the Rubik, and now we have Raven coming in from the backside. Both illusions destroyed by Shibix. And now it's going to be Anti-Mage versus OD. The whole team is positioned around this. They don't have the silence. Oh, they managed to get a Yules off here onto the Earthshaker. Going to throw the Fissure down. They're still going to try and chase him, but as an Anti-Mage, you don't have enough lockdown here if you're Moogle, unless you have the Disruptor, but Disruptor is dead.
Yeah, that was such a sick Yules from Cuckoo, I think it was. Just knowing that the Earthshaker was waiting for the stun setup on the Anti-Mage. And if they'd landed that stun, the OD would have torn him to pieces, but couldn't get it off, and yeah, Cuckoo managing to save Raven's life. TNC's still fighting really heavily over on the Radiant side of the map, which I find a little bit interesting. And not really fighting as a team, losing the two supports early on in that fight, but I guess Raven's still on track for the most part, though. You know, Miracle and Chibix both starting to look pretty farmed.
Polison going to be setting up for his team. They're trying to kill Cuckoo, and they get him. Beautiful stacking there from Polison and Kai, with Chibix coming into the rescue as well. So that will put the Queen of Pain off the map for a minute. And a minute this early on is a big deal, because it opens up the map for Moogle to just go for a push up top. The Queen of Pain is actually the one doing a lot of the burst damage on the side of TNC at the moment. And with her out of the picture, this sort of leaves Moogle free to do as they please in this top lane. I'm not sure if they can take this tower down fast enough, because their lineup is not good at taking towers.
Yeah, their lineup does kind of suck at taking buildings. The Venomancer is at least okay, and he's very likely to go for the sort of more right-click oriented talents this game. So that's
just not
that sort of helps the situation. Yeah, he's defending bottom and actually losing all of his mana to some Anti-Mage illusions, unfortunately. As they jump up, they're looking for Chibix. He 4 staffs away.
I think he should be going down here, unfortunately. TP, nothing to cancel. Lift, there we go. 1437, accomplishing his job.
Right place, right time, nice kill. We do have a BKB picked up for the Quap, so it looks like TNC probably just going to get Abyssal Blade on the Anti-Mage. And then maybe they just go straight for the Rogue. Actually, they're just going in right now, just with the Vlad's. Anti-Mage actually making pretty quick work of this. I thought they were going to rely a little bit more on the Firestorm to take this, but it looks like they're actually A-okay with just the Anti-Mage Vlads.
Cuckoo stacking these stuns. BKB! Whoa, that was the 10-second BKB charge as well.
Alright, are they going to give... I guess they're going to give the Anti-Mage the Aegis. Yeah, looks like he's made room for it, so... AM Aegis, Raven looking pretty strong, not too far away from his Abyssal Blade here. And I guess this is the TNC timing. I was just about to say that I thought, you know, the Queen of Pain buying BKB at this point indicates to me that TNC are planning on probably ending the game in like the next 10 minutes when the Anti-Mage really hits his peak. Because going late against the double Midas, I think actually gets pretty scary. As much as Anti-Mage 6 slots quickly, when it comes to the late game, I feel like the 6-slot Venomancer and like a 6-slot OD are actually a little bit scarier than AM, especially when you've got the Earthshaker on your team for all of the lockdown.
It's not even just the Earthshaker, even Kai coming in with those hook shots, the stun duration, and then also possibly going to be flinched.
Oh, they found Polo. He was trying to get a sneaky pick off in between the tier 1 and the tier 2, but looks like they may have just spotted him. And maybe not accounting for the fade time on the Shadow Blade or something like that. And yeah, they knew that he was there. They popped the dust, and down he goes. And with Earthshaker dead, Anti-Mage can just go split push.
Split push, free to roam. It's not like the OD's hitting hard enough that Anti-Mage has to run as soon as possible.
Yeah, not quite yet. OD's going to be going for a big survivability item against AM as he works his way towards a Linken's. Venomancer going for a Heaven's Halberd here, certainly very helpful. But Raven with that Aegis in hand, pretty content to just sit up here on the high ground and hit the tier 3.
And the TP backs are going to be coming here from Moogle, but is it maybe too late? The Disruptor's sitting super far back. I think this is what Barry needs to do. He can't really afford to be caught out. Because the Disruptor, Silence, and the Glimpse, they are key spells for Moogle to turn these fights around, because you could say a lot of these fights, if it's not them initiating, it's them chasing down TNC. If you can't chase those heroes down with the Glimpse, then you're not getting those kills.
Yeah, Raven made a pretty smart play there. He saw the flare go up onto the high ground, and he knew that Barry was chasing outside of the base. So he knew that if he ran into the rocket flare vision, he would have gotten glimpsed back, or he would have had to, make a really nicely timed play with the Manta or the Blink to be able to escape, but instead he just skirts all the way around the edge of the rocket flare and ends up surviving. If Moogle can, if they can hold for the next 10 minutes, I think they're actually looking pretty good, because they have the triple Midas running right now, but this is like TNC's ultimate timing.
Oh, he knows.
Cuckoo's trying to play dumb, but I think Pelosid is also suspicious of something going on here. He's like, why did he stop running forward to the creep wave? Why is he just standing still? Poor Barry.
No, Barry. Not Barry.
Anyone but Barry.
Oh, poor Barry.
Alright, well, who are they going to give this kill to? 1437 going to swap out the Enchant Totem for a slightly better spell, gets the Thunder Strike. Oop,
oh man, they've also managed to find out where Polison is. Oh, they're going to lose the Earthshaker too, and Kai's dead as well.
Yeah, that's not good.
None of them have buyback either, so this is probably just going to be a full throttle push for this top T2.
Yeah, looks like Raven going to be joining them in just a second. He's working his way towards a Heart at the moment. I'm a little bit surprised to see Heart as the choice. It is a good sieging item, but I feel like Butterfly... so one, I don't know if he's at that much of a risk of dying, and I feel like the Butterfly is way more annoying for the OD to deal with. Like, the OD is the one hero that can actually kill you in this game, and I feel like maybe the B-Fly is a little bit better against him, but I'm not sure how much it really matters, especially if they manage to get a lane of Rax here.
It's a miracle. He's losing so much mana. He's going to go down. The Silence gets thrown out here by Barry, but doesn't really matter. The Yules is there. It will keep him up in the air, and Raven just jumps on top of him. No chance for Glimpse, no chance for anything. And this tower is going to go down. Miracle and Barry down. I don't think there's enough left in the tank here for OD, Kai, and Polison to do this by themselves.
No, the OD's just struggling to get in and steal any int. He can't actually auto-attack freely. Finds an opportunity now.
But BKB being popped here on Cuckoo, and then suddenly Abyssal Blade, Anti-Mage. Oh, I think this might just be it. They can buy back onto Chibix, but I don't think there's anything left in the tank. They've used up most of their big ults.
Yeah, I mean, if OD has to buy back here, then it's a lose-lose. He buys back and he maybe dies, but if he buys back, he's never going to get another item this game. So.
Oh, two-man stun from Polison, but there's no follow-up. That's the biggest thing. OD getting silenced up here by our Night Stalker. This is the most annoying thing for our OD. He can't do that. He just can't do the damage when he's hit with that silence. That's where most of Chibix's damage is coming from, the orb. Oh, the echo onto everybody, but they don't get them. Oh.
Poor Tim's. Oh. he got left behind. Everybody else was pretty healthy, but yeah.
Wow.
That was a pretty sweet echo, but at this point TNC just gonna probably go take the shrines. I mean, the OD just hasn't been able to build up many stacks. He dropped the Sanity's Eclipse, and he has 12 stolen intelligence. It's just not it's not very impressive. He's only getting 3 auto attacks off in a fight, so really needs to... I mean, this is why the blink is so important on this hero, so you can blink forward and then like Hurricane Pike yourself back and steal a whole bunch of int, and just repeat that over and over to build up your ultimate.
Oh, Kai. Stun 1437. Barry going forward. Barry, you gotta be careful, Barry. He's already used his ultimate and the kinetic field. So that means it's not going to be available for the rest of the team. They kill 1437, but Cuckoo blinks forward. They're going to Astral Kai.
See ya, Kai.
They're not even looking at Kai, they're just leaving him. Oh, poor Kai.
Is he out? He's just TPing. Kai's gonna make it! Tim's tried to fly over the cogs, but apparently you can't, and he just got pushed out.
Okay.
And he TP'd away. All right.
I was actually expecting Kai to die, but
Yeah.
all right.
I think Kai was expecting to die, but doesn't get brought down in the end. TNC just thinking that they could leave him to the Night Stalker. Instead, they're going to grab the Shrine. I mean, they could wait for Roche if they really wanted to. AM's got his heart now, so he's huge. Queen of Pain has picked up the Shiva's. Attack speed manipulation is so annoying for OD to have to deal with because he is so focused on getting auto attacks off. That's a big part of why we don't see this hero as much. He just struggles so much against evasion and against like any form of attack speed slow. I think this was a decent OD game, but maybe just didn't fit with the overall playstyle that Moogle were looking for. But I don't even know if that 5-man playstyle would have worked out against the mass split push of the Anti-Mage and the Queen of Pain. So, you know, Godot was talking about it during the panel that they had to probably do something a little bit different because they are potentially somewhat outclassed by TNC. And that the OD was a neat idea, but yeah, they just weren't really able to set him up the way that he needed to be this game.
So now it's just practically Moogle waiting for TNC to consider pushing that top or mid lane.
Yeah, I think it's mostly Moogle waiting for TNC to get Roche and then come and push their base.
Yeah, Roche won't. Well, I want to check what the timer is for Roche. Here we go.
Potentially up in a few seconds, but more than likely, you know, a little bit from now.
Literally a few seconds.
It's a super fast respawn. All right, well,
wow.
good luck for
Caster's curse for real.
some good luck for TNC.
Oh,
there.
they're leaving the pit.
They're gonna chill
see
here.
it?
Yeah,
Alright,
Sam
yeah.
H is he gonna check it?
Yeah, they know. They know.
All right, nice.
Are they? Do they know?
Maybe Cuckoo
Maybe he
will
didn't.
check.
No, I actually think that Sam H didn't walk into the pit
Come
deep
on,
enough.
Cuckoo.
Come
Just
on.
pop your Shivas, dude.
Oh,
Oh no.
I actually think because Sam H he was going to check it, and I think he didn't go into
They've
the pit.
seen it for
okay.
sure.
There we go.
There you go. Everybody's
Good
gonna
job.
come over. They'll pick this up. Anti-Mage is slotted, so I guess he's
It's
gonna
just
ditch the
pulling off
Vlads.
the Vlads.
Yeah.
Oh, it's putting back in.
Like this. Do I really need this? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe, maybe not. I guess I'm the one who's gonna hit the buildings. All right. I think he was maybe making the decision: do I drop the treads or do I drop the Vlads?
Yeah.
And in the end, decides.
He's taking cheese and ages. Okay, no, he gave the cheese to Tim. All right.
Yeah, they'll probably give it to the Quap, the cheese. So she's carrying the gem right now. But big smoke from TNC. Let's go up onto the high ground.
Here comes TNC train, the pain train.
Yeah.
Just depends on who they want to kill first. Miracle! Oh no, Miracle was on the edge. He's just gonna get blown up to bits. Two
Nice
force
force
stumps.
stabs.
Oh, okay, he's doing okay now, but there we go. Kinetic field into silence, but doesn't even land onto anybody. Oh man, that's just gonna be it for Barry. Well, poor Barry can't really do too much after that. They've lost OD, they've lost Miracle. Miracle was brought back. OD has no buyback. TNC have everyone alive and healthy. Poison Nova only landing onto 3. Raven's tanky enough to just outlive all of this poison. Technically, the whole TNC lineup really don't mind this poison. They all are very healthy.
Yeah, they've got the mech, they got the pipe, they got the null field, and they've got the GG. It's going to be a game in the bag for
And
TNC.
Raven just going to go into the pit and is going to die. No.
So is that 3-0 for TNC?
Yep, at this point it is... They've won all of their games. They've won all of their games.
Yeah,
hardest
looking
game-
strong.
Their hardest game is the last game today.
Man, these guys are playing so much Dota. today. I mean, so they're playing half of their games, so each team is probably playing 4 or 5
and then they do the
games.
rest of them the next day.
So they do have some breaks, but obviously they're probably spending the whole day thinking about Dota. They're going to be scouting the other teams, looking at drafts, maybe even looking at other regions for inspiration if they want to see what other people are really valuing. But TNC looked really good here, and in all of their games they've shown slightly different drafts. I think Galaxy Battles to here, they're a team with a ton of versatility.
All right, so I'm going to pass it back to the panel, as this is going to be it for me and Basket for today on the casting desk. Basket won't be coming back till tomorrow, and I'm going to be joining the panel for the next game. So let's pass it back to Faraz and the team. I'll see you guys shortly. Hey Faraz, what's up?
Hey Danielle, thank you so much. Yes, I'll be seeing you on the panel, but this time